Hey hero fans, this is Todd. So today we're going to talk about Sy-Klone. All the way back from the figures from the mid 80s to the brand new origins right here. And in between, we're going to talk about some of the other figures that were Sy-Klones, as well as the Power and Honor Foundation book, an old golden book, the comic books, and some cartoons that Sy-Klone was in. So let's go ahead and get started at the beginning. And the beginning is the Power and Honor Foundation. Dun, dun, dun. Now, if you don't have this book, this is a great book to pick up. Now, this book right here, I've shown it many times in different videos. And what's cool about it is it shows a whole bunch of cool figures when they were still just in the drawing stages of what they were planning on making. Different, here's some of the first He-Man figures they came up with. Just some really cool stuff. And it, of course, has Sy-Klone in here. Almost there. There he is. And there is the original Sy-Klone, the way they were planning on making him. Now, I want you to notice we have this version here. And notice his legs are green. And he has rings on his thighs. Keep that in mind. We're going to see that later. And the center part is not circular, but angular. And then we have this version of Sy-Klone they drew. And this one here has a circular radar dish, not the angular one. So keep that in mind as we're going through this and talking about these figures and where they're represented in different things for the books and comics. All right. And again, this is from the Power and Honor Foundation book. Well worth getting. If you ever see, if you actually just join my Facebook page, whenever these are on sale, I always post a link to them. So that's a good resource to get it. So they eventually did make this figure for us. And oh, he's so cool. He has this gear on the back right here. And when you spin the gear, centrifugal force forces his arms to go up. And then you can spin him in a circle. Whoop, there he goes. And you can fly him around. And as a kid, I remember doing this, that my thumb would get so sore from the roughness of the gears on this figure. Now, he does come with one shield, just like Captain America. And he also has 2 fists of fury. Fist of fury! So what I used to do sometimes is I would take and put his arms up. And then I would slowly use him like a puppet back here. How like he was beating up different figures. And it was kind of funny because he would just smack them in the head back and forth as he was punching them. And that was always kind of fun to do. So this was a great figure. Now, one thing he did have is he had a lens that was animated. And you could see as you rotate him around, that just the lens or the sticker just changes right there on there. I think it's called a lenticular is what I believe it's called. And you can see that working right there. It's basically a bunch of serration lines on here, and your eyes play a trick on you, so it looks like you're seeing it animated. Really, it's just different images in lines made under that rough surface of that sticker. All right, let's go and put him down, and let's take a look at the golden book that features him. Stand, man, stand. I can't stand. Yeah. So here's the golden book, which has him in here. And this is the golden book called I Have the Power. And in here, it's a pretty fun one. Now, what's funny is it shows He-Man in his battle armor, but he's never in his battle armor actually inside the book itself. But anyway, so we see inside this book, Skeletor attacks with his Spydor. And while he's attacking, he grabs this character right here, known as an acrobat, and his name is, I think it's the Human Tornado. Yes, he trapped the Human Tornado in Spydor's claws. And basically, he made Spydor from a spider using a machine, and now he's going to use this acrobat to create another machine. And so they have to get him. He also steals He-Man's sword. He-Man turns back to Prince Adam. He runs out of power. He's got some really cool pictures of Castle Grayskull and, oh, look at this. And a really awesome picture of Snake Mountain. Eric, if you're watching, check out that cool Snake Mountain. Anyway, so He-Man as Prince Adam eventually, I can see him right here. There he is trapped in the machine. And you can see there's the acrobat, and Skeletor is going to transform him into some sort of mechanized being. So He-Man as Prince Adam and Cringer dress up to trick the guards out front, which is Beastman and Merman. And they eventually trap them. He sneaks in. He gets the power sword back, causes a giant explosion, baboosh, by saying, let the power return. And then he returns into He-Man. He-Man. And then Skeletor's last-ditch effort, he says, your skinny sword can't match this. And he transforms the acrobat into a living machine. You can see him down here as an acrobat with his black hair. Then whoop, and transforms. And notice, green legs. He has the red bands on his thighs and an angular radar, not circular. So this is based more on that prototype drawing we saw and not on the actual toy itself. And you can see there he is with this giant whirlwind. Whoop, 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 as he's getting ready to fly around. And you can see there he flies with his tornado behind him, and that's his power. Very cool. So it's pretty cool in this book seeing him in there. But again, green legs, and he has the red bands on his legs. It's funny, some pictures show the red bands and some do not. Let's see if I can. That one did not. That one does not. This one you can see him kind of right there. But let's go ahead and take a look at the comic that came with the figure. And this is the comic that came with the figure when you got it. And it is known as, let's see, Masters of the Universe Spike-Or Strikes. Spike-Or Strikes. And you can see here, there he is right there. And sure enough, he has the angular radar instead of the round radar. Interesting. Interesting. And you can see as he's spinning right there, similar to Red Tornado, he has those green things in the back of his arms. And you can see here, his legs are green in that picture right there. Green legs and no ham. And here, you can see also green legs and the red ring around his thighs. And the original figure, no rings around the thighs, and they're yellow, not green. All right. Here you can really see the green legs and the thigh ring. Thigh ring. It's like some kind of disease. I have thigh ring. And of course, the non-circular radar in his chest. So it's basically also just like the book was, based off of the prototype. Let me go and put my bookmark back in there in case I need to find this spot again. And let's take a look at Filmation. Now, this cracks me up. Here he is mid-spin. Oh, mid-spin. It's just funny to see him mid-spin like that right before he fully stops spinning. There he is. Stay, fully stop spinning. So let's take a look at the clip. Okay, where are you, clip? There it is. And you can see that we have an issue with these little creatures, and they have Mechaneck and Sy-Klone helping out. Their Sy-Klone is trapped. He's trapped. And then you can see that, see, there he is. There's his powers where he can fly around. Whoop, 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 whoop. And so there is some stuff going on where he's flying around. And it's kind of interesting the way that Filmation went about this. Now in Filmation, there's no real background story of how he came about, but it's still cool to see him in a couple cartoons. So there is our Filmation one. There we go. Then later on, we got 2000X. And of course, we got a cartoon with it too. And the cartoon was actually pretty cool. Let's go and check out that cartoon. So Let me go back to my iPad. And here's what he looks like in the cartoon. And you notice he has a lot of Asian influence on the way they drew him. And I think that's kind of interesting that they have, they're just throwing the discs and stuff. And you can just see his hands, the way they have that kind of whirlwind on his hands as well in the 2000X. And he has the ring on his back as well. It's something new that we haven't seen before. And let's go ahead and see his action in the cartoon. So here we are, and he has this giant wind action coming up. And one of my favorite scenes in here is, if I can get this to open up this time. Nope. Let's try that again. Let's try that again, shall we? There we go. And he shoots these discs. So he's got this power punch with his things, and then he can also shoot the discs. Now, this part right here coming up, this is one of my favorites, and it's the way he winds up to do his jump. Watch this, watch this. There it goes. Oh, and click, 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 click. And then, oh, hurricane force wind Sy-Klone. And it's just so cool. So, yes. And so he has a background story. His job is to protect the power stones on Ongat War and on that island, and it's pretty cool. So he does have more of a storyline on there than we saw with Filmation. And his figure also has the action feature where you can take and spin this right here, and it causes him to spin like crazy. And you can take and put this ring over the front like that. So he has now the ring on top of there, and he spins and spins and spins. So cool. Cool, cool. Now check out the detailing on here. He also has an animated sticker on the front of his chest. I don't see it animating very well. It does though. Take my word for it. I just having a really hard time just showing you the animation. Oh, it goes back and up and down. There we go. Almost like it's only 2 frames. Not very, yeah, not spectacular, but all right. All right, and he has a lot of, like I said, really cool detailing on him. Not a lot of articulation. Compare the difference. Let's compare. And here is 2000X. Here is the original. And, you know, there's some similarities, but again, this is based on the new cartoon, and this is based on the original concept that was drawn. Oh, double spinning power. Oh, it's so hard to spin them both at the same time. Need to be really, okay, let's get this. Hooray! I got it for a second. All right. So then we got classics. Classics. And classics is really cool in that it looks very similar to our old 80s figure. He has the articulated, he has the animated sticker on there as well. Oh, he's up and down too. I wonder, does this one go up and down? All this time I'm doing it wrong? Does it go back and forth? It goes back and forth. Okay, this one goes back and forth. This one goes up and down. And the sticker does look very similar to the one from the 80s. But even though he has a gear on the back, there is no spinning action. You can't spin him around. Oh, spin, spin, spin. Nothing. No spinning. Oh. They did give him the cool ring, though, that goes on his back. So you can take and attach this on his back right here. And you can take and fold it over. Not the best, but you can. And then, of course, it holds his arms down more than anything else. But again, no spinning action whatsoever. So later on, we did get a head pack of 2000X heads. Stand, man, stand. I can't stand. All right, there we go. Here's the 2000X head that we got in the head pack. I think it came with like 5 or 6 heads, and that was so cool. So I had to make another version. Here is my other version with the head on it. Yeah, of course, he has the animated sticker. And I made it by taking and sticking him in a drill motor and spinning it. And that spinning caused this to heat up, and then allowed me to add a little bit of lubricant in there and a little speed, and now I can spin them around. So you can, you know, granted it's not done by the gear, which would have really been cool, but at least now I can actually do something with it. Let me take this ring off. Let's get this thing spinning. Oh, there we go. As long as he doesn't fall forward, it works pretty good. So now I could do that same kind of play feature with my classics. All right, so we talked about the original. We talked about 2000X. We talked about the classics. Now it is time to talk about the Origins. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Origins one. So here is the cool Origins one that came out, and this is so cool. I really like this figure, and let's go ahead and just talk about the coolness of this figure. So first, we have him in a cool collector box. And it has some cool artwork all over it. Artwork on the back, the big old snake. He has this big old, now it's funny, they always show his tornado wind Sy-Klone coming off his bottom half like Red Tornado. But in reality, it'd be on the top, because that's a part that spins, is the top half. And so it's always kind of boggled me. They always show that wind force coming off of his legs instead of from the top. Anyway, let's go ahead and open this up. Open sesame, and you can see it shows some directions on how to make them work. We'll check those out later. And he comes with these accessories. These little blue things that go on his hands and replace his hands, like whirlwinds. That's really cool. And then he has a shield, reminiscent of the shield that he had from the 80s. And here is the figure. Now check this out. He does have an articulated. He does have a lenticular sticker, an animated one, and it looks like it goes back and forth like the original. Interesting. And of course, he's highly articulated, from ankle articulation to his boot cut, to his knee, single jointed, to his thigh, to his waist, to his shoulder, his elbow. He has wrist articulation, his head, and in the box, he does have the ring, just like we saw with the 2000X figures. Dun-da-da. Let's go and get that out of there. Where are my scissors? I should have brought my scissors out here. There we go. There we go. And let's see how that fits on there. It's like there's two places it can go, on the bottom and on the top. Oh, weird. It's got a little weird angle on there that we didn't have with the classics. So it can go on like that. I'm going to turn it around and see if the angle fits the other way. It's weird. If you put the other way, it doesn't quite work right. So it's got to go on this way on his back on the bottom. And then on the top, it's on the same way, it looks like, and then it can rotate down and over. And it's also made to go into his hand. You can cause some major damage. That's kind of fun. Now, even though they have this gear on here, if you try to spin it like this, nothing's going to happen. You have to pull apart. See that little... That's not going to go back together now. I can show you again. Just a little pull. There you go. And that is it. Then once you pull apart, now you can do the spinning action that we come to know and love from the old 80s and the 2000X. And of course, my custom that I made. All right, very cool. Now, the stinky part is once you start spinning them, you have this weird gap in his body right there, but it's not that big of a deal. Let's try it with the ring on his back. Ugh. Hands up, man. Put your hands up. That works pretty good. Now let's try it on top. That works pretty good too. Nice. All right, so there he is. Now, one thing I did do with my Sy-Klone, I think this is kind of cool, is I actually have added a piece to them. And I'll have the link in the description if you guys want to get one. And it is this piece right here. I know it looks kind of silly at first, but it's pretty cool. Basically, you have to rip his arms off. Give me your arms. Once you rip his arms off, the high end of this goes in the front. You drop his legs into the hole. And once you drop him in the hole, you put his arms back on. Geben Sie deinem Arm. Hard to do this in front of the camera while I'm standing up. Okay, there we go. One arm. And then you slide him over for the other arm. There it is. Line that right up in there. We already got it. Nope, it's close. It's close, but no cigar. I got one little shove left to do to get it all the way in. Sometimes, Mattel, you make these guys too hard to pull apart and put back together. There we go. All right. Now I got him in there. There he is. It's like a dog with a cone over his head. I just raise his arms up. Once his arms are raised up, it kind of locks it into place. Then you just take the gear and you spin it around, and now he's got a big old whirlwind. And it's pretty cool. It's kind of a fun little deal. Now, I went and painted one myself by putting this on a drill motor and holding some paintbrushes on the side. And here's how my painted version came out. And I have it so it almost matches the coloring as he's spinning around, so it's kind of fun. So, but this is the way they come when you buy your own. And if you are a member on this channel, you will get a $15 discount. The members are the paying members on the channel, and after you buy it on the link, then just let me know, and I'll reimburse you $15 if you're a member of the channel. All right, anyway, that is it. I think I've shown you guys just about everything. So cool. Woo, 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 woo. Anyway, so we have gone from, I can put them like this. We have gone from the 80s figure to the 2000X to the classics to the new origins, and we also know that we have the new Masterverse coming out as well. It's like a Tron figure. We've covered the cartoons, the comics. We got it all. So I think that is the end of the video. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you liked it and enjoyed it, share with your friends, and make sure that you hit the like button as well. And I will see you guys next video. Like I say in the 1987 movie, good journey. Bye now.
If you found enjoyment, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Do it.